Hi, everyone. It's Pam Lippitt from the Hill Street Group. And this morning, I'm so excited to interview someone who's become a recent friend, Gina Adams from Wareologie. And, anyone who's been following me knows that I've been really trying to put a spotlight on small businesses and businesses trying to break through the clutter and the noise out there that have terrific products. And so one of the first people I thought of was Gina, because I'm so impressed with the work she's doing and the product she's working on that can really help a lot of people. So without a lot of further ado, welcome, Gina. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You can kind of give us a whirl about how you got to Wareologie.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. It has been certainly a bit of a whirlwind. I grew up in Michigan, went to Michigan State, really worked in the apparel industry for years, working for the North Face, and then out in Colorado, and then moved across the country to live on the East Coast for a bit in New York, where I worked for J. Crew. And it was until I got married, moved back to Michigan so that we could raise our family here. And it was while I was raising my family, my stepfather contracted Parkinson's, and witnessing that devastating impact on both mind, body, and spirit, not only of, him, but the impact that it has on my mother, it inspired me to look at some solutions and how we could help. So that's really how the development process started. So I went back and acquired my MBA at Wayne State and achieved that degree in 2018. And that was a really pivotal time in my life where I was able to develop a business plan, conduct extensive consumer research, recruiting classmates and getting feedback from professors, winning a couple pitch competitions to really understand the massive problem that we are addressing. And
so
as it turns
out, sounds to me like, I've talked to a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs who just kind of like throw it all to the wind and mortgage their house and get in horrible trouble. But it sounds like you did all this the right way.
Yeah, I'm kind of the person that will wade into the water. I don't usually just jump in full force. Okay. So, yeah.
So that's a much smarter way to go. So what did you so tell us what you came up with as your first product, because it's really quite brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, we conducted focus groups at the Rehab Institute of Michigan and with other professionals as well as end users to understand, are your clothing needs being met? A real vital activity that frankly I take for granted is getting dressed in the morning, right? Our mind's going a million miles on something else, but simple activities such as buttoning are literally impossible for 1 out of 10 people who cannot dress independently. So I started thinking about, from a sustainability approach, knowing that my dad had accumulated a closet of shirts. He was a professional and had button-up shirts, and yet he couldn't dress himself. So that, again, the emotional impact when you're, accustomed to being the bread earner and kind of the rock of your family, that small activity, when you lose that, really dampens your spirits. And so we developed a really simple solution called buttons to button magnetic adapters. And this has been under development for 2 years. It comes basically, sold in sets of 10. And so I can show you what it looks like in here.
Okay.
And the idea is you basically, one part attaches over the button and the other part through the buttonhole. And so now you can just, I have to look down, but you can just push your shirts together to.
That's great.
And it really makes dressing effortless. It's super fun. And it eliminates one frustration. We've talked to a lot of people, whether they are recovering from surgery or have a spinal cord injury, and just the ability to self-regulate temperature and restore significant time spent, fussing with buttons it's a game changer for many.
Yeah. I don't know that I ever told you this, but my mom lost all the feeling in her fingers due to chemo. And so she had gone through a very similar thing where, and I have to say, she was like phenomenal about getting up and getting dressed in the morning. And I would often arrive and she'd say, just help me out with, I just couldn't get this part done. Or she'd get frustrated because she wanted to do it herself. So and I don't know that I've shared that with you before.
Didn't. And thank you for sharing that.
So that it can also be a temporary market. And so I have found that even more so with temporary injuries or temporary reasons you can't manage for yourself is often more frustrating than long term, because long term you tend to accept, but short term you're just frustrated that because it's it's short term. So it's just an interesting thing. Tell me about how many people you had told me about how many people you think sit in this world with dexterity issues.
Well, we estimate about 30 million people, but to your point, that's a percentage of people with disabilities, people who are aging, people who are recovering from surgery. That's not really tallied into these numbers. And to your point, what's beautiful about our product is that it's transferable. So it's temporary. So it's a way for people to retrofit their button-up shirts so that they can get back to work, get back to life, particularly if it's an upper extremity surgery, because a lot of times, you can't raise your hands over your head. So a t-shirt or, people say, well, just wear something else. Well, that's not an option if you are immobile. So, and they're machine washable. You do need dexterity to actually attach them. That's what we heard from our interviews is people wanted them transferable because now you can switch out for seasonal style. So whether it's winter and you're wearing your comfy plaids or, in the summer you have your short sleeve, golf shirts on. So, and they work well with polos too. So if it's a golf shirt and you just need to button up those 3 top ones, it's a nice solution.
That's terrific. So tell me where you're at a little bit in the process. Tell me how people either watching this live now or later can comment and let us know where they're from and if they're interested in more information. And I'll be watching the comments a little bit here, and then we'll also follow up. If you watch this in replay, we'll follow up with you for sure. So tell me where we're at in production and what next steps are.
Yeah, so we went into production in September of 2019. We have inventory.
Good timing.
Yeah, people can go to buttons2button.com. That's our website, products available. But what happened along this journey is I met our Chief Innovation Officer, James Murtha. So the idea of Wareologie is we design hardware to restore independence and empower people with physical challenges, because he really opened my eyes to so many unaddressed challenges that people are facing who want to remain independent and live and age in place. And so our product really addresses our first product, but we do have other products in the making, and we can talk about that in terms of my COVID kind of shuffle here. But buttons to buttons, it's exciting because we are on Amazon, and I do need to point out to people who are watching, the name comes from a White Stripes song. So we're, based in Metro Detroit and inspired by the song called Hardest Button to Button. So it's like a noun to a verb, and we love, the White Stripes. And so for those out there who get that, it's kind of fun and tongue in cheek. So buttons2button.com is where people can go to learn more about our company and our product. And thank you for letting us share that with people.
That's really, that's just great. I'm trying to hide that. So let's talk about a little bit about that lovely life of an entrepreneur, because I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, as you know.
Yeah.
You're getting there. I mean, that's why I said it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the person who wakes up in the morning and says, "Oh, I have an idea." That would be me. But really, it is a journey. I am watching you, and this is a journey that I think has a great end or a great, kick coming, but it's not easy.
I tell you, had I known what I was going to face and the hurdles and the flaming hoops that I've had to jump through to get to this point, thankfully my poor kids are teenagers and really independent. And so it was a good time to launch a company because, I always have put my family first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, just getting through the MBA and, really identifying that this is a massive problem, not just buttons, but brushing your teeth, opening a door. I mean, these are problems that, again, we take for granted. Sorry, I have some new
That the kitty cat.
But, and so, the MBA, they make it seem like, oh, you have a marketing plan and you develop a great product, and then you get all this amazing funding and people go crazy with your product, and, you're a billionaire before you know it. And that is not the case in our particular journey, because there's a couple things.
It's no one's journey.
Right.
Don't lose sleep over it being somebody else's journey. It's
right.
Nobody's journey.
And there's really, what people have to keep in mind is that there's 3 constant divisions that you're juggling, right? Your product development. So versus a service-oriented company, we had to develop a first-to-market, patent-pending product. So the good news is that, I don't have competition, right? This is it. The only other product out there are like button hooks that you have to physically hold on to put and thread through a button hole and then hook it onto your other button to pull it through. And that's not very functional.
Right.
There are shirts that you can buy with the magnets in the lapel, but they're frankly expensive and they don't necessarily express your own style. So here's a solution. As you said, it's you're recovering from surgery or you're experiencing, a tragic accident. Here's something or even a stroke, so people can go home and they can resume a sense of normalcy and just feeling good in their own clothes.
Right.
So there's the product development side of it. And, my background's in the apparel industry. Give me a couple yards of fabric, I will sew you a wedding dress. But here I had to learn about plastic injection molding, the different properties of plastic resins, magnetism, which is its own really fascinating space and education. And then, so that's one pillar, you got product development. Then, of course, business development and marketing in your operations and understanding your budget and what it takes to really help spread awareness in your brand. And so that's a pretty big task, making sure people know about you, right? I mean, the marketing is huge.
Huge.
The third pillar, of course, is funding all of this. I grew up in a small rural town. I'm not independently wealthy. I mean, I'll just be honest with you.
Shame on you. There's so many of us out there.
Yeah, sorry. So, I don't have, that kind of backing. And so we've really had to bootstrap every step of the way. And I have to give a big shout out to a couple people,
Okay.
such as, first and foremost, my alma mater, Wayne State University, for helping us really solidify that this is a problem, it is addressable, and it's large enough that if we can penetrate it, we can be successful. And then on the product development side of it, you have Lawrence Tech University Centropolis Accelerator and their director, Dan Radomski, who really took us in and made the essential connections to suppliers. Because it's not like you knock on one door, because
Right.
these suppliers, they work with big three. I mean, they are used to big contracts. And so that took a lot of finessing to have somebody believe in us and know that we can manufacture this.
And this is a huge shout out to Dan Radomski, because through LTU and the Centropolis is how we met. So, so that's a good thing.
Exactly.
Right.
Helped. And then, of course, the SBDC here in Michigan that supports our small businesses, and through their grants have been able to really bootstrap and get our first, what we refer to as minimum viable product. So this is beautifully manufactured by a car automotive supplier. So I can tell you the products are very durable, and they withstand laundry, which is kind of the other fascinating component to this. But in addition to Michigan Women Forward, they have been through pitch competitions that I took I took third, and then the last one I took first place in. And so again, it's those pitch competitions and those small grants that we've been able to make it this far.
That's great. And I think we've done really well. I've gone 17 minutes without mentioning that word pandemic.
Oh yeah.
So how has that affected what you're doing, and how have you been able to pivot because of it?
So I was fortunate this year to have, we went on Amazon. And so that was important because that's where a lot of people are shopping. The COVID really hit me in the gut because we missed out on over 5 trade shows, national trade shows, where we were going to be able to meet key influencers, occupational therapists, as well as end users to demonstrate. And, I'm going to show people this because the idea is you have to see how
that it just pops together.
It is. And so without us being able to engage and share, we missed out on key enterprise partnerships because we are looking for distribution channels, both in the medical industry space as well as fashion brands like Zappos, Kohl's, and Target, who have all recently launched into adaptive apparel. And we see them as great distribution brands. But everybody is just kind of sitting on their hands waiting to see what the traction is, and are people going to actually purchase this product? So, all
right. So if you're watching this and you're on LinkedIn and you have, or Facebook, and you have a connection at Kohl's or Zappos, let us know, because those are the kind of pieces we're looking for to technology and buttons to buttons move to the next step.
Yeah. And it's just like I said, it's so simple. It's sold in sets of 10, and it's just like a super cute, everything is right here. It's so simple. We have testimonials. We have repeat customers who, will just, email me and say, wow, my dad loves this. Thank you so much for giving him that little sense of independence. And it's just, I think people don't understand that this is an affordable, simple solution for millions of people to just alleviate button frustration.
And I was thinking that sometimes you go to visit a person either who's long haul in a hospital or a rehab, and you bring flowers that, not knocking the flower industry. I love my flowers, but I think bringing something that's cute but usable and can make a difference will be something that the receiver will always remember, that you really thought about them and thought how you could make their life a little easier as the day begins. Yeah. And that's a much more thoughtful gift, really, for the same price these days as picking up a few magazines for someone. So
yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah. So I think and so the best way to get to you is just to type in buttons to buttons on in Amazon. Is that the easiest way?
It is. Or go to our website. We're actually launching a great new, a couple new promotions right now. So you could go to Amazon. We are there.
But you don't have to give them a cut if we go straight to the website. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, perhaps. Appreciate that. We appreciate our margins, and we're launching this great program in honor of the Americans Disability 30-year anniversary. We are now giving a promotion where we'll donate $30, or excuse me, I should say these retail for $29.99.
Okay.
So we will donate $5 for every purchase back to the ADA. And then we're partnering with some other amazing foundations like the Christopher Reeve Foundation and the United Spinal Cord Association to offer different fundraising opportunities, because we know that this is, we want
a difference.
Amazing research, but we also want to help our customers as well. So,
all right. So if there was kind of one thing that and we have about 10 more minutes, so we have time to chat and whatever. But if there was like one thing that you could give as a takeaway, one like piece of advice I guess, what would that kind of be for you right now?
I think if you're an entrepreneur, perhaps most business owners have figured this out by now, but you had mentioned earlier, you wake up, you have a dream, you're like, oh, I got a great idea. This is going to go viral. You got to do the legwork and the research. You got to call people. You got to work with your end user. You got to go to the people who are going to be your customer and identify, not only do they think your product is going to help them like inside and out, but also where do they shop? Because that's really been one of our struggles, right? Is, I kept getting green light. Like, again, I dabbled. I'm like, okay, do you like this product? And everybody's like, oh yeah, we love the product. But really engaging with the customer, building that trust and being authentic about who we are and how our product works, that's a challenge. And you better have that planned out before you start taking on loans or investors, because at the end of the day, it's all on your shoulders. And so you have to be able to, with all of your passion and enthusiasm, make sure that the business plan is there. And that juggling we talked about, people are like, oh, well, is this a 40-hour work week for you? No.
That comes from someone who works for someone else and can turn off their mind at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
But having owned more than one business, it's the hardest you'll ever work in your life.
It is. And so, yes, I'm a bit sleep deprived, but, trying to maintain that balance. But somebody said, like, you work all the time. And I said, well, but I love what I do because I'm helping people.
Right.
So that's what enables me to just persevere, because I know that people need our product. And I'll have like these roller coaster days, and then all of a sudden I'll get, a review on our site, which we need reviews. We need more reviews because those are important. This is a first to market product. So people aren't searching for our solution. So if you're out there looking and listening, please go to our site, share with your friends, because the chances are, if not one, numerous people who have struggles with dexterity. And so, it's just thank you for helping us build, and thank you for this opportunity to reach out to people.
Well, we're all trying to do our part. I mean, I think that anybody who's just kind of hunkering down and not trying to re-innovate and thinking outside the box is really going to get stuck. And my former business was a direct mailing business. And I know that the people who kind of quieted down when we were going through the recession and all those things, they didn't make it through. It was the people who kept their wits about them and kept doing what they had always done, so that when the economy turned back on and a little bit better, people remembered them. People didn't say, oh, is that store out of business? Is that product gone? Because they were still seeing the product. And a lot of places were like, oh, I didn't know they still existed anymore. So it's really important to just keep persevering and being in front of people.
Well, and what's interesting is there's a shortage of caregivers in our city. And so one thing that we've actually looked at is, you can't undermine the value of independent dressing when you don't have another option in your caregiver, whether it's because of COVID and social distancing, or people, there's just a shortage in general because people are able to make more money at McDonald's, frankly. The caregivers are, they have amazing hearts. And so this idea of independent dressing, our value proposition is amazing. So that's all I can say.
Okay. And so I am going to guess that you are open to people connecting with you on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here is, though it may change a little bit, here is Gina's LinkedIn address. So I would recommend, if you have an idea, if you have a connection, if you're interested, or a partner, or someone either who needs this or can sell this product, that's really the channels we're looking for. So it's not only about individual buying, which is fabulous, and I think that really is the key, because then it's going to kind of build on itself. People are going to be like, where did you get that? But if you own a small business that you could put this on your counter, I'm sure that Gina would love to hear from you, because I know through that I've got a lot of small business owners in my little network. So I think it's really important that takes place as well. So
I can't thank you enough. Thank you, Pam. This was amazing.
It's my pleasure. So what do you think next is? I know you're playing with adding other.
We're
pieces to Wareologie.
Yeah, and so in the face of COVID, we realized that while we have our own new developments, we have found some incredibly talented other entrepreneurs that are developing their own incredibly helpful regenerative products. And so, stay tuned for this fall, because we'll be launching and rolling out additional products.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
And, this fall could be tomorrow based on how we look at the calendar these days, because as I say to people, the days just go on forever and the weeks fly by. So the fact that we're recording this on a Friday, I can't believe it's a Friday again. I don't know where the weeks are going, but somehow we're getting through them all, and you've got a smile on your face, and that's the important thing. So I really wish you a lot of luck with this product. I think, there are things that are, silliness that we take for granted. I know that at an Inventors Council meeting a couple years ago, and I don't know where it is, one of the giveaways was a thing to press buttons and press like the gas station, the buttons. And I had it on my keychain for a little while, and it was taking up a lot of space, so I took it off. Now, that guy is probably doing such a bonanza in work, and I can't find my free product. but I will find it. It's on my list of things that will turn up. So I think that these are times, sometimes the product meets the times, and sometimes the times meet the product. And I think we're at a place where the times are meeting the products.
Yeah, like I said, we can't undermine the value of independent dressing. And so, yeah, I think we're here. We just, like I said, don't have the deep pockets. So if you are listening and it's something that you believe in, we are looking for both investment and price partners. So,
well, that's good to know, because we'll have to put some hashtags on this so we get to our different pools of people.
Right.
And so, all right, so I'm going to say goodbye for now, but I'm sure we'll talk soon. Yeah. And I want to thank everyone. Please share this. Let us know that you watched. I see there's a couple people who have given us a thumbs up. I haven't seen any comments yet, but we're happy to see this. And a lot of people will watch it in replay, and make sure you comment at that point too, and we'll follow up with you. So again, to Gina Adams of Wareologie, thank you so much for making so many people's day just a bit easier.
Yeah. Thanks, Pam. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for your support.
All right. Bye-bye now.